All right, everyone. Some people want Donald Trump to run for a third term as U.S. president. I'm here to explain why that is legally impossible. People are misreading the amendment with regards to presidential eligibility. It does indeed say that a person can only serve two consecutive terms. Now, if you isolate that out of the context of the rest of the amendment, that would say, oh, so if you serve a term, then you're off for a term and then serve another. Technically, you've never served consecutive terms yet. So you should be able to get a third term. You just have to stagger them. That's not what the first part of the amendment says, though. It says that no person shall be president for more than two terms, period. So the workaround requires you to effectively ignore half of the actual amendment at hand in order to make that justification. When Donald Trump chuckles about having a third term or references the fact that he won in 2020, so he's already on term three, or and so forth. At this point, sour grapes because he got reelected, thankfully. When he references this, he's trolling. He's trying to get people riled up. Now, would I support a Trump third term? Let's say that the term limiting amendment didn't exist at all. Would I support a third Trump term? No, actually. No matter how well he does in his current term, because he's be too damn old. Right now, he's already on the cusp of that age range where people, generally speaking, start to have issues. He's doing a good job. I like many, although not all, of his policies. I think that he is genuinely trying, and this time around, he has surrounded himself with people who are a little bit more of the best and brightest than in term one. And so I appreciate the job that he's doing, going after illegals, although then there's like the Ozturk incident and stuff like that. Some of it's a little shaky. So trying to deport people, trying to fix the border wall, trying to solve the multiple diplomatic crises caused by the Biden administration, tackling crime, uh, tax relief, all of these other things. I appreciate the job that he's doing, but he would simply be too old. And this litmus test should be applied. I don't believe in age limits on people seeking political office. Occasionally, you're going to get like a Feinstein or a Strom Thurmond or something like that. Most often, that's not what ends up happening, although we are devolving further and further into a gerontocracy. But no matter how well a person is doing in the political sense, there should, because of the nature of power itself, because it tends to be a corrupting force, nobody should be in that particular position. It's like being the ring bearer, actually. Nobody should be in that position for too long. They should be deprived of it after the second term, even if they are doing a very spectacular job, simply because eventually they're not going to be doing a spectacular job. They will go into mental decline. There will be some sort of major scandal. The baggage piles up. And also, Donald Trump would not be capable of winning. Let's say again that the limitation is removed. Trump can run for a third term. I do not believe that he would win. And the Republicans would be semi-suicidal should they actually choose to run him for a third term, because it would break the precedent that's been in place for the living memory of virtually all Americans. So it just wouldn't work. Virtually nobody alive today was alive before the FDR period. There are very few people still left from that generation, and they dwindle by the day. By the time of the next election, half of them will have died. As a result, most people think the precedent is two terms. That's it. And again, the first part of the amendment says nobody shall have this office for more than two terms. Well, that doesn't even mention anything about consecutive. It's just saying you can have up to two consecutive terms. It says nothing about being able to stagger it. Now, there is a state level precedent for that kind of thing, namely in the Commonwealth of Virginia. You can only serve as governor for a single term. They can't have consecutive terms. What happens, therefore, is a popular governor will then run for lieutenant governor and usually win. And then they'll go back up to the gubernatorial office thereafter. So they have to stagger the terms. The idea is that the person that's chiefly in control should not be in control for very long. And so you have an oscillation pattern. Hmm. Sorry, I needed that. That's a good system. Wish they would implement that in other states as well. Kind of makes sense. That way you don't have the perpetual governor sort of thing going on, like we have here in Vermont. Our governor's Republican. The state is 70% Democrats. Only because he's a complete cuck sellout moron is he actually in there. He's done one good thing, and that's holding taxes down, generally speaking. Actually, I think the tax rate actually declined year over year, if I remember correctly. And the only reason for that is because he's a neocon. He's the only Republican governor that did not endorse Donald Trump, by the way. He did that for political expedience because he wouldn't have been reelected had he done so. Again, state of Vermont, trying to avoid federal level politics in a very rural, very blue state kind of makes sense. So no, Trump is not going to get a third term. He will not seek it. He's not being serious when he references it. He's basically joking around. It's a distraction technique. He's distracting people from what would be potentially academic and legitimate criticism of policy by putting forth a joke idea. Third term. Well, we're looking into it. You're not looking into it. He's sitting there trolling. He's chuckling at these people, and they get so hot under the collar saying, oh my God, Donald Trump is going to overturn democracy and ignore the Constitution. No, considering the amount of lawfare that's been launched against his administration, even where he's doing things that are quite clearly totally legal, if he were to do something that was blatantly unconstitutional or attempt to do so, he would be removed from office. Like, let's say Trump blows a fuse and he actually comes out, before the next election says, well, no, I'm running. I filed the paperwork already. People would think him nuts. His own party would flip on him and they would remove him from office. They wouldn't just impeach him for that. They would remove him. They'd say, okay, quite clearly he's a lunatic at this point. He knows he can't do this, so we're kicking him out. So it's not going to happen. Again, if Trump were 10 years younger, then a third term would be something that at the very least on that level would be palatable, even if it still wouldn't be legal. At least you'd be able to make an argument, well, he's accomplished a lot. Maybe there's no other standard bearer that stands up to him. You could make at least a pragmatic argument, if not a legal one. But you can't make either in this particular case. And he's not serious about it. Again, I love watching the liberal reaction when he winks and nudges the person beside him. Hey, look what I'm going to do. I'm going to make these people real mad. I'm thinking about a third term. Sounds fun. Maybe. There is no maybe. It's just a straight no. That's about all. Peace out.